Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahweh, Bashim Yahshua, Bashim Chakodash, the belongs to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there, you Akim to Sadakim, that do this thing in their most truth and sincerity. Pardon me, I'm the priest Shaman. This week's topic is going to be entitled, The Lord is going to humble the pride of these women here. First off, in America, this country is just, it's all about pride. It's all about pride, right? It's all about follow me, you know, this is what I'm doing. It's about me. That's just a society that we live in here, heavily in the West. You know what I'm saying? Nobody ever say, you know, hey, let me follow the Lord. It's all about following me. But so this topic of pride could really apply to so-called white man. First and foremost, it could apply to these nations. These nations are also proud. 2/3 of the nation of Israel. Pride could jump on even men of the Lord. Gotta humble ourselves. But in this particular topic, I'm dealing with the pride of these women here in America. And that's one thing the Most High very much disdain. It's pride. You know, because we're nothing but earth and ash, right? The book of Proverbs, chapter 16 and 18 says, pride goeth before destruction. Right? So before destruction comes pride. When pride comes in, you start forgetting about the Lord. You know, you start believing in yourself. And they had that book called The Secret, which it was all about like you projecting in the world what you want, and it comes to pass because of you putting it out there in the ether instead of the Most High giving it to you, shit like that. Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. You know, it just popped in my mind, man, when I read that Alazar. Dude was extremely proud. Most High really gave him that. Once the Most High put him on the jumper, he really blew up. That platform has multi-millions of views and subscribers and all this type of stuff going on. So the Most High really blew him up, gave him that fame just to ultimately humiliate him. You know what I'm saying? In other words, if that pagan thing came out and he was just some regular dude in Israel, they'd been contained in Israel. Still a shameful, disgusting thing to be caught with, but it'll be contained just in Israel. But the Lord gave him a huge platform before boom. And the Most High do that often. You know what I'm saying? The scripture says, for this purpose have I raised thee up. So the Most High will raise an individual up to let them get proud, just to bring them back down to earth. To let them know that, look, I'm the Lord. You know what I'm saying? And you shouldn't get behind yourself. Charleston White just got on Say Cheese, say he's too big for Say Cheese now. He said, yeah, I'm beside myself. So when a person gets in that spirit, that's when the Most High likes to intervene, man, and base an individual. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 4, verse 37. It says, now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise and exalt and honor the King of heaven, all whose works are truth and his ways judgment, and those that walk in pride he is able to abase, right? And that's what Nebuchadnezzar had to humble himself, and he did. The Most High really abased him, put him in a hypnosis trance. You know, when you watch the hypnotist saying, you are a dog, now bark like a dog, and the person goes arf, 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 start acting like a dog. Well, that's what the Lord did with Nebuchadnezzar, and made him like a beast, like some sort of beast, and even had him grow hair and his fingernails and all that, but put him in that hypnosis to humble his ass, you know. And then he got the message, so that's why he said, and his ways and judgment, and those that walk in pride, he's able to abase, right? And that's what the Heavenly Father is going to do to the proud. And in particular, this lesson going into these women who are extremely proud, man. Woman today, oh my goodness, very much super proud, man. You know, when I was younger and you were like a fat chick or whatever, you would sit in the back, you'd be like ashamed a little bit, you know what I'm saying? You wouldn't be much of an extrovert if you were overweight, you know what I'm saying? Because you'd be like, oh, I'm not the pretty girl. Now things have completely flipped to where like, and then when these women would would be big and shy. At least it was a little cute, you know, a little shy cuteness thing going on there. She's to herself. Some men will find it attractive. Hey, she's not really out there like that. I could kind of mold her. But now, oh my goodness, even the big bitches be prouder than the bad bitches. You know, and they egg each other on. You go, girl. Here it is. The chick is like 400 something pounds, and another woman is telling her to, instead of telling her to get in shape because you might die, it's, you know, go slay, right? So none of them is really putting each other in check no more. It's all about, if you're proud, be even more proud and shit. You know what I'm saying? And with that, you can't talk to them. So these women are completely out of order. They're completely proud, and the Heavenly Father's gonna bring that pride down. And during Jacob's trouble, when all hell break loose out here in America, these women are gonna realize, holy shit, the only reason I was able to get away with all this shit is because I'm able to call 911. Now I can't do that. So maybe I can't go outside half naked because I'll be prey. There's a book of James chapter 4 verse 6. It says, but he giveth more grace, wherefore he saith the most high resisteth the proud, but giveth grace unto the humble. So the Most High really is at war with those that are prideful, you know. So, and the Most High is very like, Most High be scheming, you know what I'm saying? So the Most High just be like in the cut watching, let these prideful people do what they do, and then boom, hit you with a huge humble pie, you know. I know that firsthand. The Most High humbled my ass many a times, man, you know what I'm saying? Which I'm thankful, because the Lord could do a lot worse. And you know what's so crazy is, you know, you see these women today, like namely, like let's say the black woman, but really a lot of these women, but the nigga woman is completely like fat, out of shape, no hair. A lot of them, you know, like a staggering majority, like 8 out of 9 is overweight. Out of that 8 out of 9, 9 out of 10 is obese. Still very much proud, but that was a curse. But so even the Most High hit the woman with a curse, they even proud with the curses. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 3 verse 16. It says, moreover, the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty and walk with stretched forth necks. Proud, got their neck up in the sky, you know, smelling their own farts, right? Smug. It says, moreover, the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, looking all around and shit. A woman, lock it. A woman should be walking shamefaced, her head down, all right? And really her concentration should be on her man. And that's another thing too. A woman's mindset, the pride of these women believe the universe revolves around them. So that's how come a lot of them, they don't really want to get in this truth, because when they come to the truth, they're going to realize everything should revolve around your husband. He's your Most High. But they don't want to deal with that. But if they get into it, oh, you know what? You can be my Lord, but you're only going to be with me. See that bullshit? You know? I'm pretty sure through the Spirit that the reason the IUIC is going around telling men don't be hoes and have just one woman and all that type of shit is because they woman told them that, man. Okay? They woman told them that. Pillow talking or whatever, but they woman told them that shit, man, because that one wife, one woman thing, that's really going against the nature of what the Most High had in store for men. You know, the Most High really created men to be fruitful and have multiple wives. Just on a biological aspect, you know, we want variety. Women are the one that want one good quality male with security, you know, but that whole men don't be hoes and trying to say that's fornication or adultery and shit like that, I'm pretty sure a woman, again, I can't prove that, I'm just saying through the Spirit, but that had to be like one of the women or some shit that told her heads that shit, man. You know how it goes. It's Adam and Eve all over again, man. The woman, because they got that power of that thing between their legs, all right, will mess up men's judgment, have them lose their wits. Now they teach you shit like it's adultery for you to deal with multiple women. See? But yeah, they believe the world revolves around them, And, you know, if you're going to be with them, it just got to be just one. All that faggot shit, man. See? The Most High is going to put all that, humble all that down, man. It says, moreover, the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling of their feet because they wear the anklets. It says, therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion. So this curse really hit the southern tribes, all right? The Negroes, West Indians, and Haitians. It really hit the southern kingdom. That scab meaning they got bald heads, man. You know, so if you look at the Latin tribe, the Latin women, they have long hairs, but a lot of times the Latin women, their bodies also look twisted. You know, which is a curse. I mean, you got some bad Latin tribe women, but also you got some jacked up looking ones. All that shit's a curse. You know? I mean, we jacked up too, but I'm talking about, you know, really we're both cursed. It says, therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown, which is the hair, the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion. And the Lord will discover their secret parts. And you could tell that this thing is real, if you will, because the so-called black man, he could grow his hair. All right, the black man, he doesn't really have a hard time. Some do, some don't, but for the most part, if a Jake, you know, puts his shit in some braids or whatever, he could grow the shit out. But the nigga woman, she could put her shit in the braids all the days of her life, and it really don't go past her shoulders, because this is a curse. You know what I'm saying? Again, you know, you might have Judites or the mix or whatever and shit like that. When I say mixed, I don't mean mixed seed, but, you know, like mixed DNA, if you will. That makes more sense. I don't know, because you can't really be of multiple different nationalities, but you know what I say when I say mixed. They'll have like long hair, whatever. You know, like a Jake, he might lay down with a Moabite, for example, and have a daughter, and she don't have a hard time growing the hair. You know what I'm saying? But the woman of the tribes, the Southern Kingdom, they'll have a hard time growing their hair. Because why? A woman's hair is supposed to be her glory. You know what I'm saying? Long hair is supposed to be a glory unto a woman. So the Most High did that, thinking he would humble you. But guess what? Well, not thinking. Everything's, you know, the Lord. But Most High did that to humble you. And fast forward, you woman is still proud today. Why? Now you got the weaves and shit. And the Most High put the curse on the body. But guess what they'll go do? They'll go get surgery, get BBLs. And those things are gross, man. You know? They get them like some crazy sizes. You think they'll do it to make it subtle. They just do it ridiculous to the point it's super obvious. It says, therefore the Lord will smite the scab of the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts. In that day the Lord will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet, and their calls, and their round tires like the moon, the chains and the bracelets and the muffler. You know what too? During slavery, during the transatlantic slavery, slave trade, all that was gone. You know, women were looking twisted. You going into slavery. So imagine when all hell break loose and you can't get your feminine care products, you can't get your tampon. You women are gonna be smelling. It's gonna be crazy. You know, you ever go to like let's say you go into CVS, they have a feminine section. They got all these things for women to take care of their inward parts, their vagina and shit. You know, all these different things. So you don't see that for men. So imagine when that upkeep is not there. You know, they can't put the makeup on, they can't put this on, that on. The Lord's gonna humble the fuck out of them, man. That's what's coming here. It says, and the mufflers, the bonnets, and the ornaments of the legs, the headbands and the tablets, and the earrings, the rings and nose jewels, the changeable suits of apparel, and the mantles, and the wimples, and the crispin pins, the glasses and the fine linen and the hoods and the veils. And it shall come to pass that instead of a sweet smell, there shall be stink. Damn. So the nigga woman hey, that box be fuming, man, if it's not upkept. You see? And these women be consuming things like shrimp, lobster, all these disgusting things, man, that the Lord said don't eat. Scallops and oysters. They see it as some sort of delicacy. Oh, he took me out to eat oysters. Why? You think it's a delicacy because the shit costs a lot of money? That's the bottom of the barrel shit. You're not supposed to be eating that, but they eat these things. And they don't take baths. They take showers. Women should be taking baths. Women should be soaking. If you deal with the so-called white woman, she'll do that. She'll soak her body. You know, they take care of themselves. Bath bombs and shit like that. Bath beads and all this stuff going on. Smelling great. And the woman, she'll just, you know, work, jump in the shower and don't clean the inward parts and that smell and all that stuff. And they sleep around a lot. Have multiple dudes busting up in them and shit. You know? So that, with a lot of things, you know, just not, it's a recipe for disaster, you know? So that's stinkness. It says, and it shall come to pass that instead of a sweet smell, there shall be stink. And instead of a girdle, a rent, right? So instead of being that hourglass shape, you know? Because that girdle, you know, slim waist. You know, Jake like, man, slim waist, nice ass, all that. A rent, sloppy. You know, like I said, not every single last black woman on earth is going to be looking like completely rent. Some of them are going to be on the upkeep. Some of them are going to be going to the gym. But for the most part, the curse has hit a bulk of the tribes. And instead of being humble about it, the nigga woman is going to be proud. That's how come they don't really be in the gym. You know? They don't be in the gym like that. Like the so-called white woman, she be in the gym crazy. And they don't do the BBLs. If you know what I'm saying? If you're just observing this shit, you'll see like the so-called white woman, the East Indian and the Asian woman, the Chinese and Japanese, they're not really doing them BBL surgeries as prevalent as, like, let's say for the Jake, you know, the Latin tribes. They flying out to DR and going to Miami and going to Cuba and doing all these lip fillers and all these disgusting shit to their bodies, man. See? Not knowing, like, yo, what's gonna happen to me when I'm older with this? Not saying, hopefully, Lord willing, we don't get old in this shit, but, you know, they don't think about the long-term effects of these things. You got people that then die doing these surgeries, and they still doing them. It says, and shall come to pass that instead of a sweet smell, there shall be stink, and instead of a girdle, a rent, and instead of well-set hair, baldness. Damn. And instead of a stomacher, a girding of sackcloth, and burning instead of beauty. So ugly. And you could have a woman get hit with all this fat, ugly, sloppy, all that shit, and still be proud as fuck here in 2025, man. About to be 2026. So the Lord is gonna have to really do something to bring these women back down to reality. You know, it's so bad that it's even talked about in the mainstream with this whole red pill community. You had your Kevin Samuels, but before him you had Tom Likas. You got your Fresh and Fit. You know, these different red pill spaces that they just like, damn, this whole feminism and woman pride is just going haywire. You know, so it's gone beyond just in the scriptures people talking about it. Everybody's talking about it, man. But these proud gainsaying women, again, they're gonna be humble. And I know if this video comes across, it might be offensive to those who are offended, but the scripture says offenses must come. But, you know, they'll gainsay against this thing. That's why it's written in the book of Micah, chapter 7, verse 10, it says, then she that is my enemy shall see it. See what? Our salvation. Seeing everything that we brought out the scriptures is accurate. Okay? like the Most High humbling these women, you're going to see that shit come to pass. You're going to see these things come to pass. And shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where is the Lord that power? You know, so they gainsay, they don't believe this stuff, all that is, none of that's gonna happen. Fuck you, nigga. I'm glad. I'm glad being 220 pounds and all that type of stuff. A chick could be 300 pounds. She's not gonna say she fat, she thick, or some shit like that. So no humility at all, and no sense of acknowledging reality. It says, mine eyes shall behold her, now shall she be trodden down as the mire of the streets. That's talking about shit, man. You know, trodden down like poop on the streets. That's what's coming here, man. Once you can't get in contact with 911, reality is gonna set in, man. That's when scriptures like 7 women taking hold of 1 man is gonna kick into place. When survival needs to be done. It's crazy because these women talk so much shit about men, but yet if it wasn't for men, they wouldn't be so comfortable. Go to Sirach chapter 26 verse 26 real quick. I'll close with this. There's a book of Sirach chapter 26 verse 26. It says, a man that honoreth her husband shall be judged wise of all. Right. And again, these women are so proud that they're not seeing their husband as how the scriptures want you to see your husband. A sense of reverence, a sense of worship, a sense of honoring that man. They just see a lot of these men like a means to the ends, and then the man should worship them. Completely backwards. Again, that's that pride. But she that dishonoreth him in her pride shall be counted ungodly of all. And that's a lot of women today, man. Okay? Not reverences their husband. Proud. The list goes on. But there's countless scriptures showing us that I brought out just a couple. That's just, you know, I mean, look, when you read Proverbs, the 6th chapter, I believe it's the 6th chapter, it says, you know, it tells you about 6 things that the Most High hates, man. And pride is in that 6. So the Most High has a lot of basing to do, and he will do, okay? Like I said earlier in the show, starting with the so-called white man, these nations, but again, for this particular lesson, these women out here, man, just gotta get humble, man. You know, dress up, look all nice just to go out to reject men, to make men feel like shit. It's crazy stuff, man. That, I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashim Ruach HaKodesh, that belongs to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, True Well. Salutation to the hopeful elect out here. You're a hopeful elect out there that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. Shalom.